share? Oh, Gail, when we're doing our class tonight and I stop share, if Kathy's got her documents saved at the bottom, all she's got to do is click on them and they'll come up, right?
Do what?
When I stop share, when we come on our class tonight, when I stop share, and then Kathy wants to pull up a document, only thing she's got to do is, does she have to, all she's got to do is just pull up her document. Then
No,
if
she has to click share.
You got to hit share. Okay.
She has to hit share.
You got to hit share.
All right.
So that's what you didn't do last week then, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's got to hit share. If y'all don't switch back
and then when you get through, you hit stop share, and then it comes back to me.
That's correct.
Okay, got you.
Share and stop share when you want to show things. That is correct.
I think what happened is I pulled up my PowerPoint and then I couldn't see the share button. I think that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that
yeah, your dashboard will go away. You got to roll your mouse down to the bottom. That's why you see me sometimes. I've seen the video. Y'all are thinking, what's he doing? Well, y'all can't see. I'm moving things around on my screen, like pictures. I'm moving them out of the way. I'm moving stuff at the bottom so I can get to my dashboard.
And I'm scared.
A lot of times
I'm scared I'll lose it all.
Covered up.
But I'm scared I'll lose it all if I hit too much.
So just like right now, while I'm talking to you, my dashboard has disappeared. I have to actually roll my mouse down to the bottom from my dashboard with my share button on it to come back up.
Okay.
And so that's part of it. But like where you got the little boxes with your students on them, you got to move them out of your way, top or bottom to the side, so you can do what you're doing. You can just put your mouse on them, click and hold, and you can drag those pictures around and move them on your screen where you want them. They'll be out of your way.
Or you can actually make them become invisible while you're doing that. And then
but sometimes when they're invisible, you got to stop everything and get out to find them and get them back.
Okay.
Because you have to have that. Because then to get out, you have to have them on your screen in order to get out.
Okay.
So yeah, you can hide them. You can hide them completely. But then it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to find them again, and until you can get back to that screen, you can't get out to move to something else. I made that mistake. I did that the other night myself, and because of that, when I wanted to switch between documents, I was losing my share. I had to make sure that I went back and went back. Now, the best way to share is from your desktop. Instead of clicking on a document, don't click on a document, click on your desktop. That'll be the upper left-hand choice when you hit your share button. If you'll click on desktop, then you can move between videos, you can move between PowerPoint, you can pull up documents. If you simply click on something that you want to share, when you try to go to something else, it'll stop. And if your dashboard's not there, you lose it. So the best way to make it look seamless is to make sure that you click on desktop, the top left choice on your share, and then you basically turns your computer into a smart board. And you can do whatever you want, and the students will always see. Now, you can't hide anything that way. They see everything. Whatever you pull up, whatever your links are, they see it all. And so, but I don't have a problem with that. Let me check this. That's the wrong button.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Danny.
Good evening, everybody. Good?
Great.
All right. What time is it? 6 o'clock. I'm going to get started. So I click on my share button and I go up. Mine says, this particular version, I'm using my computer at work, it says screen, which is the same as desktop. And I do a share, and then it goes to whatever's on it. And then I go here. Now what I'm doing is I am moving your pictures out of the way so I can see this. But now that has covered up the top of my screen, so I can't switch between different websites. So I'll have to move it again.
Yeah.
But I like to move mine to the top. Otherwise, if I move it to the bottom, I cover up my dashboard. I can't use my dashboard. So welcome everybody. I was talking with Danny just a few minutes ago. We've been scrambling today. Role verification is over, thank goodness. And so I sent out an email. Let me see, where is it? I copied it. I sent an email out to all the 601 students that said they should now be able to see their clinical MELS clinical coaching shell with their coach's name on it. Please remember, those 698 internship shells, 697, they just put whoever at random in those. And Seth sent out an email to the students today that he would fix those. That's just for pay purposes anyway. But when they register them over to graduate school, I give them the spreadsheet of who to put them in, but they just disregard that and they put them wherever. And so as soon as verification happens, I put them in your coach's shell. And so on the screen, you'll see what I sent all of your students just a few minutes ago. That they should now see, if they're in Dr. Church's 601 regular, they should see MELS Clinical Internship _Bullis. And that's the shell they'll use to work with. Please remember, we do not use the 696, 7, 8, or 9 shells to work with students. They're not built out. I could build them out. The problem is I used to do that, but they go away. Your clinical shells stay with those. I have control of those. They're what's known as the continuing shell. We have to keep a record of student work to show progress. We used to try to do it in TaskStream, and that was a disaster. And so now I have these clinical shells, and they're built out where you can work back and forth. It has all the drop boxes and all this time, all those things are in there. And there's a reason why. Because your shell stays the same, and that student may stay with you 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 semesters, and they may move on. But at least we have a permanent record of their work as it developed. That's a CAPE requirement. DPI has adopted CAPE now, and so we were kind of the head of the curve on that one, because I knew that at some point we weren't doing a good job. TaskStream was too cumbersome. And so if Dr. Stedman, he has Dr. Hamilton and Dr. Revis as students. Dr. Revis has Dr. Stedman's, and then Dr. Hamilton has Dr. Crawford. And that's the way that y'all have divided it up, I'm quite sure. But again, those 698 shells, they just were random. They just put students in them until they filled them up. Seth sent him an email today, I'll show you that said that, and that he'll be moving them around and matching them up going forward now that role verification is over. And he said, you weren't in the right place, but I'll make sure that you end up in the right place. But we don't use those shells anyway. But they now have the correct clinical shell that they can work with their coach in. They have it, it's matched to the class that they have. So going forward, that should be good. All right, moving on. Last night, we did the Legacy Town Hall, and I went over everything that they're due. I also mentioned, now this is not the new ones. We talked to them last week about making sure they get in touch with their clinical coach one about their visit. This is returning people. I reminded them that, and I had it right here on their the rules in terms of getting another visit. If they've changed places or changed principals, or or for some reason things aren't going well, they need one, they can request another visit. But I went over that with them last night, what the operational definition of what the clinical coach one will do. I went over the operational definition of clinical coach 2 that's paired with their class, and about the evaluator. Don't be yelling and screaming, I hadn't heard anything from my evaluator. I won't know who it is. They don't get to know who it is. I went over all that with them last night. That's a blind, double blind. They don't know you and you don't know them if you evaluate. Now, for students who are currently in 604, that's regular, or students who are currently in 603, that's add-on, that normally finish in the summer, they will still finish in the summer. Their licensure will be back to whatever day commencement is in August. But here's the catch, as I've told you before. There will be no ceremony in August. They will still finish in August, but there will be no ceremony. So on March 18th, and I put this, you folks need to communicate this to your students. That's the ones who are in 603 add-on or 604 regular, that you will still finish in the summer. Your diploma or your certificate will say August 4th. You will be licensed from there going forward. Now, they have an option. They can walk in May or they can walk in December. And of course, they about wet their pants when I said December. They're still graduating in August. They still licensed from August. The ceremony is just the walking part. It has nothing to do with them finishing August. We have to make sure that everybody understands that. When we say there's no graduation in August, what we mean is there's no ceremony. Our folks will still graduate in August. They will still complete the first Saturday in August. And 2 weeks after that, we'll apply for their license so they can apply for jobs. I'll write the letters as I always do, or Seth will, that they can apply for jobs. That's their biggest concern. Now, if they want to walk in May, they just have to be caught up to where they're supposed to be in task stream. Now, add-on licensure people don't walk anyway. They just came to the ceremony, to the reception after the ceremony. We're going to try to have something at 3 o'clock the day in May, the day that we graduate in May, and that date is Saturday, May the 9th. The graduation will be in the stadium at 6 p.m. At 3 o'clock that afternoon, we'll try to do something for our add-on people who would complete the spring and our add-on people who would complete this summer. We'll do something, and we'll have our graduates in as well. But we're really only talking about the two groups that are with Dr. Sanders right now in 604 that will would actually be graduating. They can opt to walk in May. They won't graduate until August. They can opt to walk in May if they have completed their task stream portfolio up through the end of the 604 requirements, which includes the CAP. And I showed them that in task stream last night. So when you get questions from these students, remind them, this is just about the ceremony. They will still graduate in August.
So Dale, are we not going to have a reception in August?
No, we won't have anything in August.
Okay.
The reception will be at 3 o'clock on May the 9th before. They've said we're to have no reception, no nothing in August.
Okay. So do add-on people have a choice then of coming in May or December if they're finishing in the summer?
They have the option of coming to the reception on May the 9th at 3 o'clock or the reception in December at 3 o'clock before graduation.
Okay.
And if they choose to do that, I mean, that's up to them.
Okay.
They all have to apply for graduation on March 18th. I got that date out of the registrar this morning. So share that date with your students that on March 18th, the link will come out to register for graduation for add-on and the summer completers, whether they're graduating or completing, or add-on or regular. That date will be March 18th for summer, but that's a good question from Sarah. We won't have we will do nothing in the summer.
Okay.
The university is not supporting that. They're not doing a reception. We don't have the money in the School of Ed. So there will be nothing happening in August. they can come, the add-on licensure people can come to the reception in May or the reception in December at 3 o'clock. Now, they will not walk, just like before. They will not go into the stadium unless we're trying to get that change. We're trying to get it where they could at least walk. But that decision's not been made yet, or that's not been approved yet. So the School of Ed is going to attempt to do something at 3 o'clock on both of those days. But since he's had to revert so much money, I don't know if he's going to have any money to do it with or not. The president put 2% back on matching of retirement benefits, but departments and schools have had to revert 1.5% of operating budget, including salaries. So, but then I was told by a person who checked that matching didn't come back this semester, so I don't know what the deal is on that. Somebody checked their account. It didn't come back at payday in January. So, but that was the idea, that departments were going to have to revert 1.5 of their operating back in order to pay for the 2% retirement match. But the 2% retirement match didn't come back this month, so I don't know what's going on with that. But so in the end, Dr. Bull is having to revert $62,000 back from this year's budget. So we definitely don't have any money to do anything in August. We're going to have to be out with our hat in our hand, scraping around trying to find money to do something in May. We've got a budget meeting up the hill. We've been working on that all day. I don't, what is it Ron White said? There's some good news. We're having a budget meeting tomorrow. I'm saying it won't go well with that either. We had a little pre-meeting today. I told Dr. Bull, you better have a plan B. Because things are, I don't anticipate things going well. So, but we'll do something for them in May at 3 o'clock. What it'll be, I don't know. I'd like it to be something nice, but we're working on that. What we're going to try to do is put together the undergraduate pinning ceremony, have our folks come up and get their certificate, you know, hood the doctoral students, do something. We're going to try to do something. Because I don't know how it's going to go in the stadium. I don't know if everybody's going to get to walk across the stage or not. I talked to the registrar yesterday. She said they're expecting more than 800 students because of putting all these together. I don't know how in the world 800 people could cross the stage. I don't know what they're going to do. You would have thought that you'd have worked out the details before you announced this. But, if they know what they're going to do, the registrar doesn't know yet, and she's in charge of graduation. So, because I asked yesterday what's going on, so I could make some plans. So they'll figure it out, though. The new president would like a pageant. He wants a lot of pageantry. He wants to come into the stadium rather than the basketball arena. So we'll see how that goes. Hope it goes well. I've told you my view on outdoor graduations. I still got the shakes from getting hit by lightning, but that's another story. Let's see. So we did the legacy. We've already done the new people. They all should have their clinical shells when you have class with them this week. Make sure you ask them when they go to my courses, can they see their MELS clinical internship with their coach's name on it? Tell them not to worry about the 697 or 8 shells. Seth will get those right later. We don't use them anyway. That's just for pay and role verification. They never get those right when they enroll them. I think that's pretty much everything I had on my list. Make sure you've done your role verification. None of them bounced back on me when I moved students today into Shell, so I think y'all have done a good job on that. If not, she'll start this morning. Let's see. I'll just tell you, welcome to my world. Yes, Rod?
I got a question. I saw on there, if they get a new site supervisor, will you let us know that, or are they supposed to let us know whether
they have to fill out a form in Web Connect? That's a great question.
I understand that, but
to know, but that Steve Stone is supposed to get an email when that happens.
Okay, and then he would let us know.
That's correct. Steve's right
Okay.
next to me. He's having class right now. We've got that hooked to his email. And when they go in and do that, now I won't be as bold as to say it works, but we do have a process in place. So we're supposed to know. The email comes out. We're supposed to know when that happens, when they go in and fill that form out. We're supposed to know. Usually, they're really good because they're worried about getting signed off on. They're usually really good about telling us and filling that form. And Steve stays on that. I mean, he pays attention to that. So if we have any that have changed, we should know in the next day or two. Now that role verification is done.
Okay.
We should know. And so I was going to say here, y'all can see my screen, I guess. So welcome to my world. I started out this morning when the first email came in at 4:28 a.m. from the registrar at 4:28 a.m. this morning. I was up and answered that email this morning. We've been scrambling. We were late getting them registered this time. Everything was late this time. I don't know, we just couldn't get it in gear. We went to Christmas break with 66 students registered. We came out, and the first week of classes, we still only had 66. They didn't even start registering until Wednesday of the week of classes. And everything has just been downhill from that. And you know what that does, we get a lot of drops because of that, because students are a week behind. When you don't register them until Friday of the first week of classes, and they see what they've got to do, especially if you 601 add-ons scare them to death, they drop. And so that's where we are. But I think we've got everything kind of covered. As long as verification's done. As I said, I was working in Shells this afternoon and nothing bounced back. So I think verification's good. If not, she'll send me an email at 4:30 in the morning reminding me who didn't do their verification. I don't think she's awake. I just think she sets her email to send it to me at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, because she knows you're awake.
She knows I'm awake at 4:30. I wish I could sleep longer. But I like to get my emails and get started. So she'll let me know if there's a problem, and we'll fix it. But I appreciate y'all doing that. It's it's good and bad. All the cuts going on. The good thing is we got students, and the bad thing is because we do, you can't cut people that don't have students. They don't have anything to give. But and we, as you know, we just won't send anybody home that works here on the undergraduate side, whether they have students or not. That's just a no-no here, sending anybody home. So we got people that sit and look at one another, I guess, while we've got plenty to do. So at some point, we're going to have to get to the point where we have to cut to people who don't have students. But we'll see if that happens later this spring or not. But if we can just hang on for a little while longer, I'm hoping that we'll go back and readdress class size. Our class sizes got blown up this time. We've got four sections that have 22 or more students in them. 4 sections were collapsed. So hopefully we will get to the point where we can talk about 15 in all classes and maybe 10 or 12 in our add-on licensure classes. Rather than 16, 17, and 18 in add-on licensure and 23 in regular masters. Hopefully we'll get to the point where we can talk about reducing that load. And I know coaching the add-on licensure people, you get one flat fee as coach, and they got 2 evidences to do, and you get paid basically for one. We want to address that as well. I know all the ins and outs. And I know what the university charges. I spent half a day going to all the offices yesterday, finding how much we charge people for everything. And so they're doing really well off the program in terms of the university money that they're generating. they're doing really well, and we can't continue to work for free or next to free. So we're going to have to get back to, if you coach 601 add-on, you should get paid 2 coaching fees rather than 1. You've got to coach 2 elements. And you shouldn't have but about 12 in your class rather than 17. And if you teach regular, you should have about 15 rather than 23. So in effect, people are getting paid less. They're getting the same check, they're asked to do more for less. It needs to go the other way. Since we haven't raised pay in ever for adjuncts, if we can't raise pay, we at least ought to reduce the number of students that you have to work with or grade. But that won't be well received tomorrow, but that don't mean I won't say it anyway. So, but we'll see how that goes. I appreciate all you do. I appreciate your support of the program and for me. You know, I fight and argue every day. That's all I can do. All I can do is show them the numbers. And so, not to be a downer, but you know, I feel confident that we'll do a good job with our students, and that's the most important thing to me. All this budget stuff, they'll just have to fight it out among themselves. I'm interested in what our students get or don't get. The classes, I know that's what's important to them, is what they get. And they're getting, I believe they're really getting good stuff at Gardner Webb. So I appreciate all your help. I will see you. I don't know that we'll need to meet next week since we've met 2 or 3 weeks in a row here. We'll try to take next Monday off unless something we blow a gasket somewhere, and then I'll let you know. But right now, I'm looking at us meeting in 2 weeks to give y'all some time to focus on what you're doing. If you have any issues or questions, problems, let me know. If Steve's not available, copy me on your emails. Remember, Steve is only half with us. There's 4 of us full-time between 2 programs, me and Dr. Sanders, Dr. Stone, and Dr. Laws. There's 4 of us to do both the master's and the doctoral program. And together we've got 450 students, and there's only 4 of us. So Steve has to do half with me and half with the other Steve. And so I try to catch up when he's out on the road or working in LS. I try to back him up on the visiting stuff. So if he's not available, and he's usually really good. If he's not, that means he's either visiting or he's with LS. So just let me know and I'll help you. All right. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Everybody have a good week. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Love.